Hello, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to explore the wonderful world of parathas, a true delight in Indian cuisine. The magic of a good paratha lies in its texture, beautifully crispy on the outside while remaining soft and layered within. What is the secret to achieving this incredible crispiness, you ask? It is not just one thing, but a combination of a few simple yet crucial techniques. The key lies in the use of fat, such as ghee or oil, both within the layers and during the cooking process. This fat creates separation between the delicate layers of dough, allowing them to puff up and cook into a delightfully flaky and crunchy texture that we all love and crave. The process begins with the dough itself, but the crispiness is truly born during the layering and cooking stages. When we apply a generous layer of ghee or oil onto the rolled-out dough before folding it, we are creating invisible barriers. As the paratha hits the hot tawa, the water in the dough turns to steam, pushing these fatty layers apart. This separation is what gives the paratha its characteristic flakiness. The fat then proceeds to fry the outer surfaces of these thin layers, transforming them into a golden, crispy masterpiece. Without this liberal use of fat, the layers would simply merge, resulting in a flat, dense bread more akin to a simple chapati. Another vital element contributing to the crispiness is the heat management during cooking. A properly heated tawa is absolutely essential. The tawa needs to be hot enough to cook the paratha quickly, creating that initial sizzle that seals the outer layer and begins the crisping process almost instantly. If the tawa is not hot enough, the paratha will slowly absorb the oil or ghee, becoming greasy and heavy rather than light and crispy. It is a delicate balance. The heat must be high enough to crisp the outside, but controlled enough to cook the inside layers thoroughly without burning the surface. This careful dance with temperature is a skill every home cook can master with a little practice. Finally, the technique of pressing the paratha gently while it cooks also plays a significant role. Using a flat spatula, we apply light pressure in a circular motion. This simple action helps to distribute the heat evenly across the entire surface of the paratha. It ensures that every part of the bread comes into direct contact with the hot tawa, encouraging uniform browning and crisping. This also helps the steam trapped inside to push the layers apart even further, maximizing the flakiness. So remember these three pillars of crispiness: generous use of fat, proper heat management, and the gentle art of pressing. With these in mind, you are well on your way to making perfect parathas every time. Now that we understand the science behind a crispy paratha, let's begin with the very foundation, the dough. A perfect paratha starts with a perfect dough, and for that, you need very simple ingredients that are likely already in your pantry. The primary ingredient is whole wheat flour, also known as atta. For about 8 to 10 parathas, you will need approximately 2 cups of atta. To this, we will add a little bit of salt for taste. About half a teaspoon should be sufficient. Some people also like to add a teaspoon of sugar to help with browning, but this is completely optional. The most important addition for softness is a tablespoon of oil or melted ghee, which we will mix directly into the flour. The process of mixing the dough is straightforward but requires a gentle touch. Start by placing your 2 cups of whole wheat flour in a large mixing bowl or a parrot, the traditional flat Indian vessel for kneading dough. Add the salt and the optional sugar, and then drizzle in the tablespoon of oil or ghee. Now, using your fingertips, rub the fat into the flour. This process, known as moyan, is crucial as it coats the flour particles, which helps in creating a softer, more pliable dough. You should continue rubbing until the flour mixture resembles coarse breadcrumbs. This simple step ensures that the final paratha is not just crispy on the outside, but also wonderfully soft on the inside. Once the fat is well incorporated into the flour, it is time to add water. The key here is to add the water gradually. Never pour all the water in at once, as this can make the dough sticky and difficult to handle. Start by adding about half a cup of lukewarm water and begin to bring the flour together. Continue adding a little water at a time, mixing and gathering the flour until it forms a cohesive mass. The ideal dough for a paratha should be soft and elastic, but not sticky. It should feel pliable in your hands, similar to the consistency of Play-Doh. If it feels too dry, add a few more drops of water. If it's too sticky, a light dusting of flour will fix it. After bringing the dough together, the final and most important step is kneading. Transfer the dough to a clean, lightly floured surface and knead it for about 7 to 10 minutes. Use the heel of your hand to push the dough away from you, then fold it over and repeat the process. This develops the gluten in the flour, making the dough strong and elastic, which is essential for rolling out thin layers without tearing. Once you have a smooth, soft, and elastic ball of dough, place it back in the bowl. Cover it with a damp cloth or a lid and let it rest for at least 20 to 30 minutes. This resting period allows the gluten to relax, making the dough much easier to roll out later. With our beautifully rested dough, we are now ready for the most artistic part of making parathas, the rolling and layering. This is where we create the potential for all those delicious, flaky layers. Begin by dividing the rested dough into equal-sized balls, about the size of a golf ball. Take one ball and roll it between your palms to make it smooth and free of cracks. Lightly dust your rolling surface and the dough ball with some dry whole wheat flour to prevent sticking. Now, using a rolling pin or a belan, roll the dough ball into a thin, even circle, approximately 4 to 5 inches in diameter, much like you would for a small chapati. Now comes the crucial step of adding the fat that will create the layers. Take about half a teaspoon of melted ghee or oil and spread it evenly all over the surface of the rolled out circle. Be generous here. This layer of fat is what will separate the dough during cooking, creating the flaky texture we desire. Make sure you cover the entire surface right up to the edges. After applying the fat, lightly sprinkle a pinch of dry flour over the oiled surface. This little trick helps to keep the layers distinct and prevents them from merging back together when you fold the dough. It acts as a separating agent, enhancing the flakiness of the final paratha. There are several traditional methods for folding the dough to create layers. One of the simplest and most popular is the triangle fold. To do this, simply fold the oiled circle in half to create a semicircle. Apply another light layer of ghee and a sprinkle of flour on this folded surface. Then, fold the semicircle in half again to form a small triangle. Gently press the edges to seal them. Another popular method is the pleating method. After applying ghee and flour to the rolled circle, start making small, accordion-like pleats from one edge to the other until you have a long, pleated strip. Then, roll this strip up into a tight spiral, like a pinwheel, and press the end into the center. Once you have your folded triangle or pinwheel, it's time for the final roll. Lightly dust the folded dough parcel with dry flour one more time. Now, with a gentle hand, carefully roll it out again. If you made a triangle, maintain its shape as you roll. If you made a pinwheel, roll it into a circle. The goal is to roll it into a paratha of about 6 to 7 inches in diameter. Be careful not to press too hard, as this can cause the layers to stick together, defeating the purpose of our careful folding. You want to flatten the parcel while preserving the integrity of the layers you created inside. Your layered, uncooked paratha is now ready for the tawa. The final stage of our paratha journey is the cooking, where we transform the layered dough into a golden, crispy delight. Place a flat pan, preferably a cast iron tawa, on the stove over medium-high heat. Let the tawa get properly hot. You can test the temperature by flicking a few drops of water on it. If they sizzle and evaporate immediately, the tawa is ready. Carefully place the rolled paratha onto the hot, dry tawa. Let it cook for about 30 to 40 seconds, or until you start to see small bubbles appearing on the surface. You will also notice the color changing slightly. This initial dry roasting helps to set the structure of the paratha. Once the top surface has slightly changed color, flip the paratha over using a flat spatula. Now drizzle about half a teaspoon of ghee or oil onto the top surface of the paratha. Spread it evenly with the back of your spatula. Let this side cook for another 30 to 40 seconds. You will see the paratha starting to puff up in places, which is a great sign that your layers are working their magic. Now flip the paratha again. The side that was just oiled is now facing down, sizzling beautifully on the hot tawa. Drizzle another half teaspoon of ghee or oil on this new top side. Now the final touch for ultimate crispiness. As the paratha cooks, gently press down on its surface with your spatula, moving it in a circular motion. This ensures even contact with the tawa, resulting in uniform browning and a wonderfully crispy texture all over. Keep flipping the paratha every 20 to 30 seconds, pressing gently each time until both sides are a beautiful golden brown color with some darker crispy spots. The entire cooking process for one paratha should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Once cooked to perfection, remove it from the tawa and place it on a plate or in a casserole dish. Your hot, crispy and layered paratha is now ready to be enjoyed. The classic way to serve it is with a side of cool, plain yogurt or a tangy Indian pickle, known as achar. The combination of the hot, savory paratha with the cool yogurt or the spicy pickle is simply divine. Parathas also make for a hearty and satisfying breakfast when paired with a hot cup of masala chai. You can serve them with a simple vegetable curry, a rich dal makhani, or even just a dollop of fresh butter melting on top. No matter how you choose to serve it, this homemade paratha, with its perfect crispy layers, is sure to bring comfort and joy to your meal.